Morning, folks. Last one of the week, thankfully. He says, as if it was a chore. It's not. It's a privilege and a pleasure to be able to speak to you all. We'll just get Facebook on board, folks. Okay, job. That's Facebook on board. Anyway, good morning, everyone. We chat who's in. Hi, Alistair. Hi, Eddie, Stephen, Margaret, Barbara. Hi, Alistair. Hi, Jeanette. Morning, Lorna. Morning, John. How's green up this morning? Hey, Facebookers in yet. I'll give him a wee second. Anyway, to say Friday, and you might notice a wee gap in my teeth there. I was eating some artisan sourdough bread yesterday. Nice crusty stuff it was. Broke my tooth. Still a nice sandwich. Lovely sandwich, chicken meal. Excellent. But broke my tooth. Way it goes. Right. Well, almost there. Still no Facebookers on this morning. That's a strange one. First the Facebook's on. Hi, Pat. How's it going? Right, we're up there at 50 mark. Let's get this programme underway. And first up today, the Daily Fail. And I'll put it up for you because this is pure comedy stuff, as we know. We're running up to the budget. I think it's next Thursday. Next week sometime anyway, the 30th. Halloween, just enough to give us off. Right, so let's put this one up. And the Scottish Daily Fail has Labour's budget ploy will punish mortgage holders. Jeremy Hunt warns interest rates will stay higher for longer after Rees rips up rules to borrow an extra 50 billion quid. Now, it would appear that after a disastrous first 100 days in government, where it has been pure doom and gloom, it would appear that the Chancellor has now decided, good morning, regularly, to rip up those Tory fiscal rules to an extent and borrow more money. Right, now, I have no objection. None. And I have absolutely no objection to tax rises either. The people of the UK have to put a link together between tax and spend. Tax spent on public services. You don't raise enough in revenue, you can't have good quality public services. Simple as that. So I also don't have a problem with the borrowing and the changing of the fiscal rules, as long as the money is spent properly. Where is this 50 billion quid going to go? Is it going to go into public services? Are we going to hire more people to work in the public services, which is what's required in order to improve them? Or will it go on vanity projects like 22 billion quid for carbon capture? A technology that's been around for the best part of 50 years, and we know for a fact, looking at Australia, looking at America, looking at Norway, it doesn't fucking work. But they're going to spend 22 billion quid on it. Now, if they're borrowing 22 billion quid to go on technology that doesn't fucking work, then I have an objection. But if they're borrowing 50 billion and hiking taxes to sort out public services down that road, works for me. There's consequentials for that. And that means money's coming flying up the road, which can then be invested in the public sector. Borrowing to invest in the public services is the right thing to do at this point in time. But the speculation on this budget has been mental. We're 5 days out for it. We'll see what's in it. Is this money actually real? Is she going to borrow it? Is she going to rip up the fiscal rules? Or is this just more speculation? Right. Second up this morning, we have the Scotsman, and it goes on Reeves flags debt change and tax rises. See, I don't mind about tax rises. I understand the link between taxation and public services. I understand that perfectly well. So, as I said previously, and I'll say it again, come on, John, hit me up. I'm good for a couple of quid. As long as the public services remain good and improve. As for Reeves hitting people with tax, same thing. Different scale. Right, the daily record goes on. I think I'll put this one up. That goes in the folly of drink driving, actually. And this seems to be a recurring story. Ex-Gers SUV smashes into motorbike. Morales, drink drive, crash, arrest. Colombian was overtaken truck. Biker victim left with broken limbs. Footballers and drink driving seems to be a repeat theme. It appears to be a repeat theme. And this isn't the first time footballers get pissed driving their big expensive cars and have smashed into somebody and hurt them. But just don't. End of fucking story, just don't drink and drive. Okay? Right, the sun goes on, same story, boozed up Morelos and biker smash horror. Ace hit rider on way to training. Don't know about Ace. Footballer? Ace? Nah, I doubt it. Right, the Herald goes on. I think I've got this one. Yep. This is an interesting story. Huge rise in sex crimes amongst previously convicted. Actually, it's not a huge rise, but the research is quite interesting. What the Herald did was they got a Freedom of Information request based on a convicted sex offenders from 2017 to 2022. And what they discovered was that most of them had committed offences before. And the offences that have been committed range from possession of indecent images, sharing indecent images, inappropriate online communications with minors, and right across the spectrum to petty theft. So, I don't know if this is actually a headline, really, that sex offenders have previous convictions. Is that a headline? That's like saying we got the research and had a look at 1,686 petty thieves and discovered that 1,500 of them had previous convictions for petty theft. I don't know if this is a story. I really don't. So, anyway, that's what the research shows. That from 2017 to 2022, those convicted with sex offences had previous offences, and the majority of them had previous sex offences under their belt. There you go. Right, the Telegraph. Reeves warned over 50 billion debt fiddle. Debt fiddle. No, all she did is creating new debt. No biggie. Now, get a bank of England to issue a bond, sell it to the commercial sector, 50 billion quid. Get a bank of England to issue another 50 billion quid the next day and buy it back. They're fucking no big deals. What a shite. Black holes, nothing. But I always love these headlines. Warned. Warning when it comes to taxing the rich. Anyway, apparently, as I say, more borrowing will mean that interest rates will stay higher for longer. Depends on your perspective, folks. Those of us who were around in the 80s, when the interest rates got up to 15, 16, 17%, actually 5.5% is quite low. It's actually quite low. So it's a matter of perspective. And yep, it's going to hurt people who are already living on the edge. No point in kidding on about it. If you're struggling to pay your mortgage right now, and you find out that interest rates are not going to come down anytime soon, that's a fucking sore one. That is a sore one. Especially if you're struggling to get by. And a lot of the people who are using food banks are actually in jobs, working hard, but only just managing to cover their bills. Things like housing costs. So it will be a sore one. But 5% today is equivalent of 20% in the early 80s. Probably class action. Probably. But as I say, people will be feeling it. And those on the edge, this is no good news. It really isn't. But as I say, we had 14 years of Tory austerity and a need to actually spend a shitload in the public services, then I don't suppose this would be a big deal. But all this screaming and hollering about this budget, it's all really about fears that they're going to tax the rich. We know they're not going to fucking tax the rich. And if they do, it's going to be minuscule. It's not even going to scratch the surface of what they've got. That's the way it goes. Right, now I'm going to put an asterisk because it's up next. What nonsense has it got today? The National has BBC wrapped over Scottish income tax claim. And that's this claim that Scotland's the highest tax part of the UK. It's bollocks, folks. The majority of people in Scotland are on the lowest wage bracket of tax, therefore they pay less than people in the rest of the UK. Right, now the National also has IDF claims journalists are Hamas members, a fabrication, insists broadcasters. IDF are just going to kill every journalist that passes by them, and anybody else that gets in their way. Right, the main headline, Labour refuses to explain role of envoy. Breach of guidance. Well, breach of guidance means fuck all, it's guidance, there's no rules. Claim as Grace, salary, job description and start date all remain a mystery. Well, you know what, Davey can clear that one up for the National. Alright, the job title's made up. Her salary is 176,000 a year, and there is no start date, and the role doesn't exist. It was a made up save face exercise for Mr. Starmer, because that woman there, with the slashes and flags across her face, oversaw Starmer's disastrous first 100 days in office, which seen as way scandals like jobs for the boys, cash for access, Clothegate, entertainment freebies, you know, and then of course the fear mongering. But apparently, Starmer, who quoted this woman, because this is who he wanted as chief of staff, made a mistake, and she oversaw the disastrous first 100 days of the Starmer administration, and apparently it was chaos at number 10, where she was supposed to be overseeing operations. So I hope that clears it up for the National. There is no fucking job. There is a salary. There'll be nothing for her today. It was a shuffle her off to one side and try and save face while doing it. That's all that was. But £176,000 a year to remain a staffer but never have to show up for work sounds like a fucking game to me. Sounds brilliant to me. I'll take that job. I'll take that job. Right, the eye has. This one's a cracker, folks. This one almost blew me away. I know it's here somewhere. Here we go. Revealed mental health therapist caught having sex with patients but carry on working. Reporter for the I paper posed as client to reveal UK's Wild West of unregulated therapy. Oh, how far did she go to corrupt a therapist? Anyway, therapists that have been banned for serious misconduct, including sex with patients, providing drugs, and being drunk in session, cannot be stopped from seeing clients because the regulation that regulates their industry is voluntary, apparently. Psychotherapists found to pose extreme danger to public, if not barred, is still practicing. GP, dubbed the Dirty Doctor, who was struck off by GMC for having sex with women in his consulting room, has set up new business to treat vulnerable clients under a different name. So there you go. Apparently it's the Wild West out there for therapists. Apparently the therapists are sex pests and, unregulated, apparently. Let's say the Wild West 2 days in a row. So it would appear that only people in the west coast of Scotland get, on the west coast of the UK, get Botox treatments, and apparently only those in the west of the UK see psychotherapists, because it's a Wild West out there. So obviously the East isn't involved in this one. Okay, brilliant. Yeah, I hear somebody saying there's 111 watching on YouTube. There's 122, so there's 11 watching on Facebook. Hi, Melanie. Right. So there you go. Apparently, a psychotherapist are having sex with their patients and getting away with it because they aren't regulated properly. Right. The Metro goes on. The Morelos crash story again. And the Star goes on. I think it's on a football story and all. When I went looking for his front page, all I got was his back page to tell us that Jose Mourinho had been sent off in a 1-1 draw with Fenerbahce. I thought, that's good. Mourinho back in the stand. That happens quite often with Mourinho. Anyway, apparently he thwarted Ten Hag, whoever the fuck he is. I take it that must be the Manchester United manager. Right, that's it for this week, folks. That's the bollocks that's in the headlines. Let's get this budget out of the way. Up until then, we'll get no more sense in the paper. And that's going to ramp up as we get towards it. 5 days out, expect budget all the way in. Bad news after bad news after bad news. And thanks very much for the super chat. And I believe there's another one just up there. I'll go back and see if I can find it. Yep. We've got one there for Indy Scott Brian. Thank you very much. And there was probably more that I missed, but I was just enjoying it. Thanks for I'm a loyal Scot only. Thanks for the donation, mate. Right, as I say, week over, back on Monday today all again, of course. But the bollocks in the papers doesn't get any better. But we're supposed to believe that it's a Wild West for Botox and a Wild West for psychotherapists. Well, it's alright if you live on the East Coast, it's cool, man. It's only a Wild West. The East seems to be quite civilised. I think I'll move to the East. You guys, hit the like button, hit the share button. Thanks, moderators. Thanks, contributors. And we'll see you on Monday morning to do it all again. You're packing up all your home and gone east, are you? Catch you later. Bye for now.